Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, the budget hearings continue at the Senate. On Thursday, the Senate Finance Committee, chaired by Senator Clifford Graham, gathered at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall with a full plate. First up to testify were officials from the Department of Tourism to defend their 2016 budget. News 2's April Knight has details.
The Department of Tourism came before the Senate Finance Committee on Thursday with a smaller budget than last year. For 2016, the department is asking for $2.4 million, a little less than 2015 because of OMB constraints. Acting Commissioner Beverly Nicholson Doty is also asking for $19 million from the Revolving Tourism Advertising Fund to promote the territory. These monies come from the 10% hotel occupancy taxes. According to Doty, with more resources, they could focus on saturating the marketplace with promotions for the VI. They could also spend more on hospitality trainings and additional entertainment. The acting commissioner did caution against spending on entertainments and attractions that do not make money for the Virgin Islands. Finance Chair Clifford Graham raised the lack of airline services between St. Thomas and St. Croix, and Doty said it all goes back to airlift development. The increasingly warming relations between Cuba and the United States also came up, and the fact that before it closed to the U.S., much of Cuba's visitors, more than 90%, came from the United States. That's the same market that's currently making up much of the VI's visitors.
It will take a period of years for the infrastructure in Cuba to come to the level of our core market, the American clientele. Notwithstanding, it is not something that we are not closely looking at. It has significant potential impact both for overnight visitors and for the cruise industry.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The VI Board of Education's budget hearing followed immediately afterwards. The Virgin Islands Public Television also defended its budget later in the day. The Department of Agriculture is not sitting idly by during the current drought. This week, workers have been in the fields making sure that local farmers will be able to feed their livestock until the rains come. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
St. Croix has only seen an average of 2 inches of rain between April and June this year. That's 6.5 inches less than the usual average for this time. It's been hard on local farmers, so the Department of Agriculture is stepping in to make sure farmers can take care of their livestock.
Right now there's a drought, and what we are doing is trying to help the farmers them.
On Wednesday, crews from agriculture began baling hay to transport and stock at the department for sale.
We started cutting the grass on Monday. Yesterday we have about 1,000 square bales and anywhere between 60 to 70 wrong bales yesterday. Today will be majority is wrong bale.
Usually, food production would handle a job like this on their own, but because of their limited staff, the crew out here consists of welders, mechanics, operators, supervisors, an assistant director, and even a director. And that means the department's mechanic shop had to be closed down.
We used to do it on a regular basis, but the manpower is not there. Right now, as you see, the guys them here is the food production plus the mechanics. Right now, we only got, 3 operators out here, which is the assistant director, and the director is who and the machines.
The hay fields they're working on the South Shore is privately owned, but the department has a partnership with the farmer for instances like this one. On Monday, they'll be at it again if necessary. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Governor Kenneth Mapp disapproved the application of the Carambola Golf Club for an extension and modification of economic development benefits. The governor said the submitted application didn't have the necessary information to approve it. The application submitted revealed that as part of their renewal application, Carambola Golf requested that its original commitment to maintain employment for 39 employees be reduced to 18 employees, that there be a cutback in their requirement to pay for health insurance, and that all compliance issues be waived. The governor said throughout the entire time of Carambola Golf's benefit period, they remain non-compliant in several areas: employment, charitable contributions, and health insurance. Additionally, the EDC acknowledges that Carambola Golf grossly overstated their projections. In other news, events following the Supreme Court's decision on the legality of same-sex marriages continue to unfold in the territory. One of the issues raised initially was whether legislative action was needed in the VI. Senate President Neville James, who was outspoken about his own personal views, weighs in on where the Senate fits in the picture. News2's April Knight has the details.
Senate President Neville James speaks up on the Senate's role in implementing the recent Supreme Court ruling legalizing same-sex marriage across the nation. 4 days after the ruling on Thursday, Governor Mapp said he would issue an executive order directing local agencies to allow and recognize same-sex marriages in the territory.
The question is, will the court be enforcing an executive order or local law? So that is a very delicate situation.
But shortly before that, Senate President James said he had asked for legal opinion, which initially indicated that there was indeed a need for the Senate to act on changing the wording of VI law.
Our chief legal counsel preliminarily still believes that there is a requirement for legislative action.
After the governor's announcement, Legislative Council revised the draft legal opinion, but no details yet on what was changed. The Senate president did address his earlier statement, saying they remain his personal opinions and he did not aim to discriminate.
Personally, I've always known a marriage to be between a man and a woman, but I will not discriminate against those who are involved in a same-sex relationship. I just ask that everybody's position and opinion be respected, whether you're in support of it or you're against it. If rights are to be granted to those who are in a marriage that involves the same sex, so be it.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
According to Senator James, Legislative Council is currently making the revised legal opinion available for review by members of the Senate. Count on 2 to keep you updated. The U.S. Marshals Service announced murder suspect Jawa Charlery, 19 years of age, has been added to its 15 most wanted fugitives list on November 2nd, 2014. The Richmond Police Department responded to a call for assistance at the Clarion Hotel. Officers were directed to a room and discovered the body of Ebenezer Escobar, who suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the head. The following day, Richmond police charged Charlery with murder. The U.S. Marshals joined the fugitive investigation. Marshals confirmed Charlery fled to the U.S. VI after the crime, but has ties to cities of Norfolk, Virginia, Miami, and the U.S. and BVI. He is a 6 foot black male weighing 160 pounds with black hair and hazel eyes and is a member of a criminal organization in the Virgin Islands. A reward of up to $25,000 is being offered, and you can contact the U.S. Marshals Service for more information. After a 3-day trial, a federal jury found former Virgin Islands National Guard Major Sherry May Morales, 54, guilty of 21 counts of wire fraud. According to evidence presented at trial, from 2010 until 2011, Morales was employed as a full-time employee with the Virgin Islands National Guard on St. Croix, and at the same time, a full-time contract position with the Military Personnel Services Corporation. Evidence presented demonstrated that Morales submitted timesheets to both for the same 40-hour work weeks over a period of 14 months. Morales faces a maximum sentence of 20 years imprisonment and fines of up to $250,000 on each count of conviction. On St. Croix, Chief District Court Judge Wilma Lewis sentenced Luke Lubrin, 46, of St. Croix, to 4 years of probation for manufacturing marijuana. In February, Lubrin pleaded guilty to 1 count of manufacture of marijuana. As part of his plea, Lubrin admitted to growing marijuana on his property in Frederiksted, St. Croix. On June 26, 2014, a total of 58 marijuana plants were found on Lubrin's property by special agents with the DEA. As part of the term of probation, Lubrin was sentenced to serve 6 months of home confinement and pay a $1,000 fine. St. Thomas Community Action Now, Inc., CAN, has joined forces with the Citizens and Police Association, CAPA, to host a community forum on crime in Savannah and begin the development of the Savannah Neighborhood Watch program. This meeting will kick off the Community Action Now Savannah Cleanup and Restore project that's scheduled to begin Thursday, July 9th to the 25th, where a series of community service activities and forums will take place in an effort to address community needs. CAPA will host a community forum on Monday, June 6th at 6 p.m. at Christchurch Methodist in Savannah Market Square area. Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. As we can see, everything is down. The Dow down 27, NASDAQ down 3, S&P also down. Coming up on News 2, what's open and closed for the Emancipation Holiday and what events are planned for the commemoration. That's coming up next. We'll be right back. At 7:04 a.m., both units from Romeo Company Coral Bay responded to the Bordeaux Mountain area in regards of a reported structural fire. Firefighters upon arrival came upon a trailer engulfed in flames. They say firefighters proceeded to extinguish the fire. Additional units were called in from Zulu Company. They were ordered to the scene. Firefighters then conducted salvage and overhaul operations. Units from Zulu Company were ordered to return to their station. Units and crew returned to Romeo Company at 8:15 a.m. At this time, the cause of that fire is still under investigation. Well, the mission statement reads, reducing chronic diseases through prevention, education, and providing linkages to care and treatment. However, HOPE's representatives say HIV prevention services are on hold until further notice. That's effective July 1st. They say they are no longer CDC funded to provide HIV prevention services in the territory. Persons who are in need of an HIV test should contact the Virgin Islands Department of Health. Screening services for diabetes and hypertension continue, however. They respectfully apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. In August, the Hope Clinic will launch its VI Health Awareness Initiative featuring expertise, chronic disease prevention, treatment, and social services for diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, and obesity. Waste Management wants the public to know that they will be observing special hours at their various sites for the holiday weekend. The administrative offices will be closed on Friday, July 3rd. The Bavoni landfill will operate from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday and Sunday. On Saturday, the 4th, the Bavoni landfill will close at noon. The Susannaburg transfer station will open from 7 a.m. to noon on all 3 days. The St. Croix transfer station will open at 6 a.m. each day and close at 2 p.m. Friday and 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. The Peters Rest Convenience Center will open from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Friday and Saturday and from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. Many other places close in recognition of the holiday. Senator Terrence Nelson is calling the community to join with him and others on his annual Freedom Walk. That trek begins in Christiansted at the fort at exactly 5 a.m. and travels the route ancestors more than 150 years ago took to Fort Frederick.
This is the 14th annual Emancipation Day Fort to Fort Walk. But this makes 167 years since General Bodo and Martin King led the lead to congregate in Frederiksted to demand emancipation from then Governor General Peter Van Scholten. We do this walk to commemorate the struggle. I just encourage people to come on out, have fun. It is about liberation. It is about freedom. Let's free ourselves from whatever our vice is. Use this walk as such. Anybody that have done it, who have done this, will share with you that they felt that level of accomplishment, of freedom. So come on out, do whatever of it that you can.
Meanwhile, police are advising that there will be parking restrictions in effect for the Emancipation Day and Independence Day holidays in Frederiksted. On Friday, parking is prohibited at the intersection of Strand and Market Streets, north to Butto Park. Parking also is prohibited at the Custom House and King Streets. Parking is prohibited in the lot between the United Caribbean Association building and the Customs House. On Saturday, parking is prohibited on Strand, Market, and Hill Streets. One-way traffic will flow north on King Street into Frederiksted Town, and one-way traffic will flow south on Queen Street out of Frederiksted Town. Well, July 4th, Events Festival action approaches its peak over on St. John, and here are some events not to miss. On Thursday, Village Entertainment continues with Imagination Brass and Red Hot Burning Flames. On Friday, July 3rd, Emancipation Day will be celebrated at the Franklin Powell Senior Park at 10 in the morning. That evening, it's in the Village, jam bands, small acts, and Triple K. On July 4th, it's Juve. That starts at 6 a.m. from the National Park dock. The festival parade follows shortly after 10 a.m., and that begins at Cruz Bay Harbor. In the evening, it's Cool Sessions Brass from Love City, Kerwin Dubois, and Crossfire of Barbados in the Village. Fireworks starts at 9 p.m. at the harbor. Finally, on July 5th, the polka run at noon at the Cruz Bay beachfront. Well, don't sleep on this. A study from the Centers of Disease Control reveals that the percentage of adults who report sleeping 6 hours or less has increased, and sleep loss is associated with many health problems you may not be aware of. The St. Thomas Sleep Center is available to help people with sleeping disorders sleep better at night. There's more into your health. You had a good night's sleep? Has it been so long that you can't remember? You're not alone.
We all have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep from time to time. That's part of living in the world. But that should not last very long.
Nationwide, an estimated 50 to 70 million people suffer from chronic sleep loss and sleep disorders. And those disturbances can be associated to many health problems.
People who are troubled with their sleep, if they feel that they need a nap during the day, if they're not getting as well rested sleep, if they snore or have any irregular breathing problems, if people are getting up to go to the bathroom frequently at night, it may actually not be a problem with their bladder, but it may be a problem with their sleep that's actually waking them up. People with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, kidney problems, strokes, all of those folks, and even people with depression or who've had motor vehicle accidents, they may be suffering from a sleep problem that's not diagnosed.
The National Sleep Foundation reports that most adults should get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Children, 5 to 12, require 9 to 11 hours, and adolescents, 11 to 17, require 8.5 to 9.5 hours.
Most children who are diagnosed with behavioral problems or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD are suffering from a sleep problem. Other problems that we see are restless leg problems and people who are tapping their foot constantly, driving everybody else crazy around them. That oftentimes can translate into a sleep problem if they're moving around a lot at night, kicking their bed partner, perhaps injuring themselves if they're bumping into something. Oftentimes that's due to a metabolic imbalance, sometimes an iron deficiency, and we can readily identify that and diagnose and treat that in the sleep center.
The Sleep Center is located in the Paragon Building. It's a place where people can find out if they have a sleep disorder.
So this sleep testing is a non-invasive test, meaning that we watch people while they're sleeping. We don't use any needles or x-rays. It's all done non-invasively, and we watch them while they sleep and help us diagnose what kind of problem that they're having.
Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.